Good morning, everybody. I'm Carolyn, your host. Welcome to Weekly Minis. As you know, each week we deliver a bite-sized workshop on the hottest acro topics. You can reference all of our previous weekly mini topics and more amazing content, tips, and ideas on our Acrobatic Arts channel on YouTube. Now, if you have any questions while we're live today, please put them in the comments section and we'll do our best to address those at the end of our presentation. If you know someone who this topic could help, be a friend, click the share button and let them know. Now on to today's topic, managing headaches during acro class, and we have Meaghan Wegg here to tell us more. Meaghan studied aerial hoop and contortion at the National Circus School in Montreal. She was a featured artist performing around the world with Cirque du Soleil and the Seven Fingers. She is the Australia, New Zealand, and Asian division manager for acrobatic arts. And we're lucky because she loves to share her knowledge and positivity with us. We can't wait. Good morning, Meaghan. Thank you for being here.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
What's going on? How are things in London, Ontario?
Things are great. The sun is shining. It's beautiful here.
We love to hear it. Always makes it easier to get up on a morning like today. And I know that today you're talking, what are you talking to us about exactly when it comes to headaches in acro class?
Well, I think it's the most requested topic, especially in my studio here. I'm going to give tips on breathing and how to manage when it comes because it's normal.
It is. And I didn't know. In fact, we were talking before we went live. My daughter came home from dance last night. She had an acro class and she said she had a headache and her eyes were hurting. And so I thought, wow, this really is a very pertinent and relevant topic. So I know that our acrobatic arts community will love to hear more. So I will back away here. I'll put myself on mute and you can take it away.
Thank you. So like we said, if you have any questions, totally write and ask, and Caroline will bump in and I'll be able to help answer. So headaches is something that I struggled with as a young student and all the way up to my professional days when I was performing with Cirque du Soleil. My big message that I want to share with everyone is to let you know that it's normal. Headaches is a normal thing that happens, and it's how you guide towards getting through that headache. Our bodies are sensitive, our heads are sensitive. We also don't know if the student just got in a fight with mom and dad and they come into the studio with an emotional type of headache, or we don't know if they slipped on ice. So my biggest thing every single class is saying, hey, to my students, how's your body feeling? How are your heads? How's everything? What's your mind state today? It's important that you connect and get in tune with your students so you know where you can guide your class. If you have a goal to do a whole bunch of bending and they had come in very stressed, maybe gear your class towards half the bending you wanted and something else. It's really important that you do that first impression check-in so that everyone's understanding and aware. I had headaches when I was, I'm going to say 10, 11, 12, because I didn't understand the proper techniques of breathing, or I was pushing myself too hard, or I did not elongate my spine and think about proper alignment before going upside down. So along my path, I've developed techniques from yoga, from Pilates, from physiotherapists, from doctors, and I kind of put into practice my own work that I guide with my students for managing headaches during class. But communication is the biggest thing. If they don't tell you and you wonder why they're not doing the skills to their best ability in that moment, it might simply be because they have a headache. So I'm gonna have my demonstrator, Nathan, come in. And we're going to guide you through some breathing techniques and just some simple exercises. You can do this at home too. So Nathan, I'm going to get you to turn to the side and just take a seat and place your triceps on your knees and notice the palms of his hands are rising up to the sky. Think about it pulling down all this amazing positive energy. We're going to put that right on top of his eyebrows. So place your head in. And you're going to push a little pressure downwards and focus on breathing. Show me you're really breathing through your rib cage. Do big breaths, continuing to put pressure on your eyebrows. Now I'm going to tell you to move your rib cage breath to your diaphragm and your belly. Let me see you go forward and in and out with your belly. That's it. Very good. So you can count up to 10 breaths with them. Then let's say we just finished our series. Now, Nathan, release. And then you're just going to sit there for a moment and take in everything that you just put into your body, all that good focused energy to kind of zone you back in. Then from there, just do a little circle side to side. And that's one little pressured breathing technique that helped me instantly to get back into my contortion training. Another thing is you can just do sitting in that same posture, little circles, counterclockwise and clockwise, and move it all around your eyebrows and your cheeks, just to help feel a little better. Thank you. So other things I like to say, you can just relax, Nathan. Other things I like to say is take a walk, especially in the Canadian winter. Go and breathe that crisp, ice cold, fresh air outside. It'll be a nice kind of shock to your system, just like when you go to the spa, maybe at Kananaskis, just like when you go to the spa and you do the hot, cold baths, but you're outside in the winter and you're in a hot tub breathing that cold air. There's just some soothing to it. Also drinking water and simply taking walks. I like to say, put up a headache corner with step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And if they have a headache in class, get up and go and read the steps, and they can choose which one they want to do, or they can go through all 6 steps and then come back to class. So it's part of the class. It's not like they need to stop. It's like they need, if they asked you to go to the toilet, they have to leave class anyways to come back. It's the same type of thing. They just leave to put some focus into healing that moment of the headache. The next exercise I would like to do is lay on your back facing sideways. This one is a little bit of a neck stability. So basically, we're going to be creating a C curve as per the Pilates vocabulary, or straightening and elongating our neck as tall as possible, creating a double chin. And then, so stretching the neck up, and then we're going to learn how to relax all of our muscles. And then we're going to engage just using our neck muscles, and it's going to take pressure off of up here, and it's going to really engage the core from down here, because the tension from headaches could come from here. So we want to eliminate that. So I'm going to go and show you that. We like to be in our neutral position. So knees bent, hands into the floor, feet into the floor, so that we're stable and we're just focusing on one part of our body. Now, Nathan, give me a double chin. Good, and relax. Try not to move anything else. Relax your whole, there you go. Relax your whole body. When he did it, he engaged and was perfect hollow position. We want to relax and think neutral and zen. One more time. Very good. Okay, so stay in your double chin. Now, I'm just going to put my finger on top, and I want him to just lift upwards, not forwards. Lift up, and that's it. Hold for 10, 9. Let's say he did his 10 seconds, and then come down. So what you're going to notice is we're relaxing and releasing every muscle, and we're just focusing on how heavy our head actually is. Did you feel that? And so it's stabilizing all along here, and it's putting focus to your mind, focus to your head, focus to everything else, and you're going to be relaxing at the same time. I just want to show you not so great technique. So Nathan, lift your head up to look at your knees. Notice how he's using his abs and is using his pecs and his everything else. That's not what we want to do, because everything else is being engaged. So we want to just go back, relax, and then give a C curve, double chin, and lift up and relax. So you can do that 3 sets of 10 seconds, and then do breaths in between, and then do it again. So the next exercise I'd like to do actually is hold your hands on your ribs and focus on filling up your ribs with your breath. And exhale through your mouth so you can really see how much breath you have. One more time. That's it. Try to fill up your whole hand. Good. Now move your hands to your belly and do the same thing. Try to really fill up on your inhale. Good. So it's important that you tell them to kind of feel, put their hands there, because their mind is focusing on breath rather than pain that's happening in that headache moment. Okay, thank you. Maybe you could just take a rest. So walking, breathing, taking a breath of fresh air outside, changing your kind of scenario, your atmosphere, focusing on being relaxed and in a Zen moment, stretching, massaging, and also taking a break. So headaches are so normal. If I let headaches bother me, I don't think I would have had the mindset to continue to become an elite artist with Cirque du Soleil. They do get very bad, and it's up to you to be able to say, today, I think I should rest. It's too intense for me to be able to train. If your students are not understanding that it could just be the headache, why they're not progressing in class that day, if you've noticed kind of significant pointers throughout that one class, then maybe just let's have a little break and think about it, and move on to standing postures instead of upside down postures. Migraines are a thing as well, where you can see flutters and you can see all these different types of things. Just what I want to share as the message, like I said at the beginning, is headaches are very normal, and it's possible to work through and to work with the headaches, continuing to breathe and continuing to open up your mind and keep some positivity there. I know they can hurt. But of course, if they get so bad, please go see a professional and speak to a doctor and get advice on how to manage those more intense headaches. So teachers, when I am teaching contortion specifically, I cue breathing into my counts. So they'll be standing in their jazz first, ready to go down into a bridge. I'll say 5, 6, inhale, 7, 8, and 1. I cue breathing into my counts because almost everyone forgets to breathe. I always forgot to breathe. By the time they're down, you'll hear like one of those breath noises, gulping for air because they forgot. When they're in hand balancing, watery eyes will happen because all the pressure is upside down, and or when they're in their classic position in their chest stands, they're going to feel potentially suffocated, hard to breathe. I don't know how to breathe. Teach them how to breathe by taking a sip of air through their nose. So all the pressure's here. Just a little sip of air as if you're trying to catch your nose from dripping. That'll continue the oxygen flow during that exercise. Yeah, I think that's my tips for today. If there's any questions, I'm really happy to answer.
Awesome. Thank you, Meaghan. There is a question, but yes, incredible content. And I love that it's also giving yourself and the students permission to address the situation in a way that serves them so that they can continue to move along and it doesn't disrupt, or it minimizes disruption in their training and their success. So the question is from Sonia: my students sometimes complain about being itchy when they're upside down. Have you ever heard this before as well?
Yes, I have. So guys, I'm not a doctor or a physiotherapist. I'm a passionate acro coach. So I've felt that before, actually. I've also fainted when I've been in contortion class. All these things are normal because of breathing and because of forgetting to count your breath and to focus. So I have all these rules. I had all these rules with myself, but the itchiness, happened for me, when I potentially wasn't as warm as I could have been, or if I was too warm to handle my exercise. That is just my personal experience. I have felt those itchy situations. But I don't want to say this is why your students are itchy. It could be different, but I definitely have experienced the itchiness.
Interesting. Okay. So really fundamentally, a lot of it does come back to the breath.
Yeah, but
Yes.
yeah, potentially. And we were gifted this beautiful body that we have and we were born with. And it's so important that we learn how to listen to it. If, like, when you have a baby, they don't know how to talk. So their cues are sounds and crying. But students who are older than baby age know how to talk, but they possibly don't know how to tell you what their body is needing. So if you're feeling something, listen to it. You need to listen to something that's happening up here instead of pushing it, or something that's itching over here while you're in a contorted, distorted pose. I want to just say, listen to your body, come out of it, evaluate it, try to breathe, try to stretch and do a different type of exercise and go back in. It might be just trying to tell you something, really.
Yeah, for sure. Great. So, so important. Now, also so relevant right now with training and breathing. Sonia wants to know, they are still teaching with masks, with the students wearing masks. And do you feel that breathing exercises help or hurt during those times? And I would assume if you have any tips for working through that right now, that would be great.
Yeah, so breathing in a mask is very difficult. I understand that. If they need to breathe, I'll ask them to go to the bathroom or go somewhere and remove the mask so they can do an exercise simply for the purpose of headaches and breathing without the breath that's just recycling within the mask. I think, is that the question she asked about breathing with the mask?
We are still teaching with them wearing masks. Do you feel like breathing exercises help or hurt during those times? So I guess I'm guessing it's the exercises, breathing exercises that you've given. So if somebody's got a headache and they're wearing a mask and they go to do the exercises that Nathan was showing, is that helpful even though they have their masks on?
Yeah, so my purpose in the moment of the headache is to focus on something else so the headache can have a relaxed moment. So going to breathing is my first tip, but if you're struggling with the mask and you can't ask them to go and remove it and do the exercises, take a walk, get them to take a drink of water. There's different options that they could do, or sit in the tricep hold and put pressure on there and massage, rather than saying focus on breathing if the breathing is too intense on the mask.
Okay. Right. All right. She's wondering about the sips of breath during the exercises, but I think that oh yes. So sips of exercises, you were talking about how that becomes more difficult when wearing a mask.
Yeah, of course. I know. Yeah, it's just the times right now. So headaches could potentially be a bit more often because of the masks, but I would definitely allow them to go and take a breath, go to the bathroom, remove it, whether in their stall or in their own little cubicle, to breathe and do some things, and then come back for the headaches.
Right. Okay, great. Thank you. Okay, I have a question now. Also, anything once they leave the studio. So is there any recommendations, similar kind of exercises that you help them with at the studio, or things you can send them home with to consider after their practice?
Yeah. So the same type of thing is of mind over matter. Like, it sounds silly to say, try to get your mind off your headache because it's right there. But any hot or cold compressions, really pamper yourself. You're not a baby, but baby yourself and treat yourself, treat your body like it's a beautiful trophy on a shelf, because it is. And you should really take time to think what your body needs. And most likely it's probably to relax. Let's say, make yourself a spa at home, have a hot bath, sit on a chair, put ice or put a heat pack here and just relax. The simplest things to give yourself at least 5 or 10 minutes of quiet time and relaxation. That's
For
what I would say.
Well, and obviously all those tips and ideas are relevant to us ourselves and the things we would want most for those that we care about. So for our students as well, obviously carrying that forth to them. I don't think we have any more questions, Meaghan. I'm just checking the feed, but jam-packed with incredibly valuable tips that I know our community can take away and put into action right away. And great reminders for all of us when it comes to our own well-being and the well-being of our students. So thank you so much for being here today. Before we go, I just wanted favor to ask all of our listeners, we want to know what hot topics you'd like to hear more about. I know Meaghan's going to be back with more hot topics moving forward into December and to 2022. What else do you want to hear about? Please feel free to share it with us in the comments below. Your weekly mini must-haves for 2022. Thanks so much again, Meaghan and Nathan, and thank you teachers for joining us for this weekly mini. You can learn more about acrobatic arts and our programs at acrobatic.arts.com. Join us next week for our session on how to download and use our photos for your marketing with special guest Michelle McBride. See you everyone. Thanks for coming. See you next week. Bye.